Welcome to another episode of our mini podcast, I Built a Company That Makes a Difference by B1. Here we talk to founders of sustainable businesses to get their takes on how and why they started their companies and some of the lessons that they've learned along the way. Today, we've got Deanna and Stewart Young, the co-founders of FiVO Design, the makers of eco-friendly furniture designed to last. Deanna and Stewart, thank you very much for coming on our show and chatting with us. You guys have a wealth of information, especially because you're in the launch phase and everything is really fresh and you're living it right now. So thank you very much for coming on our show.
Hi, Amber. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Can we start by just hearing a little bit about yourselves, Deanna and Stewart, and your backgrounds and how we got to today?
Yeah. Do you want to start?
Sure. So, first of all, I'm a proud U.S. Navy veteran. I'm out of the service almost 30 years now. We've been in business for over 20 years, doing custom cabinetry and architectural millwork. And we took the opportunity during the pandemic to pivot our business. We pivoted first into clear protection barriers, and then pivoted that into wood furniture. I would say I'll go into the first pivot into clear protection barriers. We when we were in the shutdown mode of the government says you have to stay home, I was compelled not to stay home and continue to work. And I designed a line of clear protection barriers that we sneeze guards that we brought to market very rapidly. Our first hurdle with that in that pivot was we couldn't source any hardware. So I was challenged with how do I make these things and not put them together without any hardware. And that's when like my big aha moment was like, why is life so challenging? Why is everything so difficult to make and put together? And then I realized, like, I just broke down putting things together to their most simple form. And I put these clear sneeze guards together with a joinery system that I designed, and it's now patented.
Oh, that was going to be my question. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. Well, we just received our first patent a couple months ago. So we're patented in the United States, and our designs are registered internationally.
So really, that first pivot really came out of necessity and we had pivoted prior because, as small business owners, that's what happens when nature affects the economy. And so we had to pivot because of the pandemic, because all of our cabinetry and millwork projects had been put on hold. Our customers didn't want us coming into their homes and their businesses to finish out projects at that point in time. So, Stuart's been a lifelong woodworker and just overall problem solver, I would say. Background is in accounting and finance. And so as a husband and wife team, we just kind of put our heads together and, like Stuart said, pivoted into these sneeze guards, which he was able to design pretty quickly. But we knew that was never our end game. We knew that we weren't going to permanently be moving into the plastics industry. It was really just survival at that point. So how we transitioned into the wood, I would say.
Oh, so we serviced. There was just a need, and that's like, the number one thing. Find out what people need and give them what they need. And we saw the need, the very large need,
right here in our community.
Yeah, and then how did we launch? How did we, this goes back to, 101, go to people, So, we sold these clear barriers very fast and a lot of them. And it's because we went to our existing customers,
right,
and we just had something different to offer them, and they needed it.
And then we also branched out and serviced a lot of people that we did not already have a business relationship with. And we did that really, it was a very grassroots effort. We do here what I like to call guerrilla marketing. We work always on a very small marketing budget, and everything is, how can we achieve the greatest reach to the most number of people for the smallest number of dollars. And so, we did that by a lot of, social media outreach. Making connections on LinkedIn was very valuable. We got one of our biggest clients that way by networking through LinkedIn, and just, asking people who were happy with our product to please spread the word so that we could help more people during that difficult time.
And then how did you guys go from that, which was so timely? It is amazing that you were able to spin up a business so quickly with the skills that you have, something that was so, so timely for that period. How did you say, all right, now we're going to pivot again or transition into furniture?
So I think it's really important to note that that initial pivot to the plastic was actually quite easy for us, even though we had these supply chain issues we were experiencing, because we were already in the industry of making things. Our shop here in Massachusetts was already outfitted with CNC automated machinery. And so Stewart had previously worked with this plastic material, acrylic and polycarbonate, on some commercial cabinetry projects. And so we had that material here on hand in our shop, a small amount of it at least. So we were able to do all of our own prototyping. And that's how we got the plastic out there so quickly, because we already had that machinery in place, and we were familiar with the materials. But I'll let you tell the story about how we transitioned to the wood.
The transition into wood. So we knew right out of from the beginning that plastic was not our life change. It was just immediate. So I it was our best year in business, and it got to got to a point that we self-reflected when COVID started, and we took another opportunity towards the end of the year to do that again. And I, giving that it was our best year in business, I felt like a strong desire to like give back. And there were some people on the internet doing making desks for children that didn't have desks, and I just really I wanted to take part in that. So I wanted to make a piece of furniture that had these attributes that I already designed in the clear protections barriers. I wanted to make a desk that was adjustable in height, and that I can also flat pack
For easy shipping.
for easy shipping. Yeah, and I struggled with the design for a short period of time, and Dina suggested that I use the joinery that I designed for the clear barriers and apply it to wood. And once I did that, that's when we had the aha moment again, and realized that, putting wood products together is as simple as putting the plastic together. And it really didn't require any tools or hardware to do so. I spent the last 20 years teaching employees how to build really complex things. And, with all kinds of fasteners and glues and screws, and I started thinking, like, why do we need all that? And you really don't with this joinery. Everything goes together with no tools and no hardware.
But I think it was the timing also that really, during the pandemic, we took the time as a family. So we are kind of a family run business. We do have 2 teenage boys that help out here. Also, I would say that we really kind of simplified things during that period of time. And so that's where this idea of this desk kind of it's designed in a very unique aesthetic, but it's also the greater good of the product is its functionality. So, I know we were hearing a lot of stories from friends and experiencing ourselves about how everybody's homes during the pandemic had turned into their offices and their classrooms for their children, and the kitchen table and the dining table were now the desks for the kids. And things got a little crazy where, people were feeling like they wanted to regain their home during this time of chaos. And so one of the inspirations for this desk also was that by giving people a product that they could easily assemble and disassemble, literally within a minute, they could regain their living room on the weekends and make it their home again, because the children could flat pack, come apart, and they could stow it under a couch or under the bed. And now your living room or your bedroom is not your classroom or your office on the weekends. So that was kind of like another way that the product gives back to the consumer, I would say.
Yes, and also like this is really kind of neat. When we filed the patents on on the joinery system, we coined it the infinity joinery system, and we coined it that because number one, it can be assembled in an X, Y, and Z direction for infinite. Okay, and then also there's infinite number of configurations and one is that with our one table and a couple accessories, three people can use the one table. And you can link another table onto it and adjust the height, and now you have a sitting and standing workstation. So the whole versatility of it doesn't restrict the user to this one time piece of furniture that like typical furniture is disposable. I was when the pandemic started, I was really moved, because I just as I said, self-reflected and started looking at like the projects that I've done over the years, and like I built a house once, and when we were done, the customer asked us to tear it down, and it's absolutely it's correct, it's insane.
As
And
soon
I
as you
started like,
finished, you were asked to take it down. Okay.
yeah,
That
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
wasteful.
It was, a house on a private golf course, and we literally were putting the roof on, and they didn't like it, and they asked us to tear it down. So I went through this career of like everything being disposable,
Mm-hmm.
and
A lot of ways.
yeah, a lot of waste, and and I just got moved, like really moved by this self-reflection, and you know and when I went into this piece of furniture, I didn't want to waste anything, because like I valued where the material came from and how it came to me, and I started designing this piece of furniture, and I realized that like I had offcuts. I wanted to make this one thing, but then I realized I have all these offcuts of material, and I said, well, what can I do with this offcut? And then I realized, well, I can reshape it to make it as an accessory for the furniture. And then I said, wow, well, now I have an accessory. I can do this, and now I make another accessory. And then we had more offcuts that we turned in
Smaller, yeah.
smaller offcuts that we turned into a line of wine racks that we sell. So yeah, so which with the mission was to go as close to zero waste as we can
Mm-hmm.
with with this material. We're buying this material; it's coming all the way to us, and now we're cutting it up, and if we don't use it, it's getting thrown out. It just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, the one piece of furniture turned into another one, and now we have a whole line. It's absolutely insane. But we had to stop designing stuff because we just focus on a core group, and that's a very important thing too. Is like you know
Too many SKUs.
yeah, but it's also like it's easy to design stuff and make stuff. The challenge is selling the stuff.
Right.
So that's where you have to learn all kinds of new skill sets, like set, and this is a different kind of sales. Like this
It's
is
really different because our previous, type of work with cabinetry, was a lot of word of mouth when it was on the residential side. But when we did commercial projects, it was all just, bidding work. And so now one of the toughest things that we're learning is selling a product. It's very different than saying, our previous business really was selling a service of making a customized product. where somebody else was designing it and picking the finishes and all that stuff, and we were just executing that project. Now we've got this line of fare, and we're exploring so many different ways to possibly sell it and distribute it.
I had a fella come to me a few weeks ago, and he had this piece of this designed a piece of furniture that he had designed, and he wants to bring it to market. And I told him I could I could take his design and make it flat packable and help him bring it to market. But I told him just sell it first. Just sell it. Just get it sold. Let the customer tell you what they want.
So just for
And
our kind of entrepreneur audience members out there, why did you tell him that? What was important about him going to get market feedback first before he starts production?
because I made those mistakes. I built a line of furniture without selling it, and now we have to go and sell it. And it's because of like our nature of makers. We get into like the rhythm of just making and making and making, and like it should be sold first and let the customer tell you what they want.
How
We
have
have
you guys upskilled yourselves in the past year or since you started this project to be able to say, okay, now this is a totally different thing, totally different product, different channels, different ways to reach customers? How have you guys upskilled yourself and acquire some of that knowledge?
I mean, it's been a little bit of a winding road, to be honest with you. One of the most important things that I would say is asking questions and looking for mentors. That's something that we had not really done in our previous business because we kind of knew what we were doing. Yeah, I mean, with this, when you come from the world of cabinetry and you go to the world of furniture, like there's nothing the same. Like you're entering a whole new industry. And I mean, very early on, we threw ourselves in and tried to meet as many people in the furniture industry that we could. So, seasoned salespeople, people from other companies that have grown a business and succeeded at doing it. People who have all different backgrounds of marketing and business and sales. And, some of them have given us good advice and some really led us on roads that, were not the best advice and took us for a side trip. But I mean, I think, we're not afraid to admit that we don't know a lot to learn. And I think that's been a really humbling experience to be able to say like, hey, we're entering a new industry, we're entering a new venture, and we know that we have a lot to learn. So, I mean, I think asking questions and finding those people who, can really kind of give you some solid advice and lead you down the right direction has been very helpful for us.
Yeah. So for me, I don't I don't stop reading. I study a lot of self-help books and a lot of early business people that have done this before. And that's one thing that you have to surround yourself with people that have been successful in what you want to do. And I've surrounded myself with books because I have not found a pool of people that have been successful in what we're trying to do that want to embrace you. There's a lot of people, and remember this, there's a lot of people that want to put their hands in your pockets. So
Yeah, for sure.
keep so it's a really big challenge. So I took to studying books. Henry Ford is the reason why he was such a success is because he built the least expensive car, and he brought it to the market. But so how do we provide the least expensive piece of furniture that is for the masses? It's very challenging.
Where are you guys at right now? You've got product, you've got inventory, and now you've got a website and you can order on the website, right? So are you at a launch phase? Have you launched just recently? Where are you guys in the journey?
So we've spent the last year doing a lot of trade shows,
Mhm.
and we were working when we could get our stuff into.
I can't hear.
So we That's okay. We've spent the last year doing a lot of trade shows and traveling around and kind of sharing our products with people, and we were led to believe that we were going to be able to get into, brick and mortar retail stores pretty easily. And that's proven to be a lot more challenging than we had hoped. And so, for various reasons related to the economy and supply chain issues, and people's reluctance just to try out a new product has been a really tough thing. But so I mean, we're selling, and we're selling through our website, and we are talking with a couple of e-commerce platforms as well to find other e-commerce platforms to put our products on. But I mean, our biggest kind of we're really learning that we need to put more time into social media and building our brand and our tribe there, and really getting like followers that can help spread the good word about our product. So that's kind of that's the phase that we're really going into now, and spending some serious time learning more about social media and how to leverage that. Exactly.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, especially D2C products, direct to consumer products. That's a whole new ballgame. And I've spent a lot of my life in B2B, and moving relatively recently, a couple years ago, into B2C, especially on the retail side, direct to consumer. It is a whole new world. It is a whole new world in terms of marketing, customer acquisition, the customer experience, channels, where to find people, even just payments. It's a new world. It's a lot. And good for you guys for jumping into that. That is exciting / daunting.
It is, but the thing with our product, and I don't know if our, listeners have seen our product yet, but our product is a very demonstrable product, right? So demonstrating is what really gets people to be like, wow, that's really cool. And so, as we explore that road of trying to get into brick and mortar stores, Stuart and I quickly realized that a salesperson in a furniture store is not going to take our piece of furniture apart and put it back together to demonstrate for a customer. And so then we thought, okay, we could do that through video at like a point of service kiosk, but we just didn't get there. So for us being out and getting out in front of people is definitely the best way for us to spread the word right now. And then it's also through video, because we have to show people how this works. Because a lot of people, well, there's a couple of things. The first challenge that we have is that this is a modular furniture system, and so a lot of the times people hear modular and they naturally equate that with low quality,
Mm-hmm.
whereas our furniture is made really of very high quality materials with birch, and on top of that they think of it's going to wiggle, it's going to break. Where we have no hardware putting our furniture together, there is no wiggle and there's nothing to break. So, like, you could literally take a piece of furniture apart that we make 100 or 1,000 times over, and there's no glue joints, there's no hardware that's going to break. And so, for us, it's really been kind of a consumer education that we're doing in these early phases, because our furniture is almost a little bit ahead of its time. And so we're trying to educate consumers on the difference between typical modular furniture and our modular furniture. And also a big part of it is sharing our sustainability story, because I mean, that is a big piece of our design, the function of the furniture, and why we do what we're doing. Because we wanted to, right from the onset, we wanted to create furniture that does not need to end up in a landfill, because that's a huge problem right now. Is a lot of furniture is built with a short lifespan, and people unfortunately have no problem tossing it to the curb and not following that process of thought all the way to the end to realize that it's going to be standing in a landfill for many, many years to come.
So I'd just like to add to that. So when I started the design of this furniture, I approached it that I wanted to have the least amount of SKUs as possible, and one of the things and universal parts. So you can put multiple things together and build. Some people equate it. So they call it Legos for adults.
Looking at the furniture, that makes complete sense to me.
So, so I, approach this like, how do I keep my SKUs down, for manufacturing and, all other, reasons. And, how do I make all these universal parts that you can build different things? And, it came down to like, a mathematic equation,
Mhm.
like, you know, the joinery, how it goes together and then also like the use. One of the first things I did was I made sure that I was compliant with ADA, the American Disabilities Act.
Ah.
This, yes. So you can our furniture, it's adjustable in height. So you can somebody in a wheelchair, and then a child in a wheelchair can use it.
Hmm.
And that was one of the first things out of the gate. And you know, and I came up with these parts, these furniture parts that like you could make it, a short person or can use it. Our desk is adjustable in height in 5 inch increments,
Mhm.
starting at 25 inches for a child's desk. Then it goes to 30 inches, which is a standard desk height, and then 35 for standing. But in addition to that, we have additional accessories that can allow you to go up another 10 inches.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really neat. And
That's another base product, the mod time.
and I'm short. I stand 5'1", and and one thing that I realized through this whole process was that like I've been forced to sit at a table, that is ergonomically not correct for me. So I lower my table down from 30 to 25 inches, and I realize how comfortable it is.
Mhm.
So,
Mm.
I wanted to service big people, short people, it doesn't matter. I wanted to service everybody with this piece of furniture, and that's what it does.
Just when I first saw the furniture, I thought, "Oh my gosh!" Like I live in London. I live in an apartment, and I also have a kid, and just so much stuff. When you were talking about COVID and the absolute chaos for parents that happened, like complete chaos, especially if you for all parents, but if you had school age kids and I mean, I remember being on video calls with some of my team and it was just madness at their house, like stuffed animals flying, trying to keep kids paying attention to anything. And I think even in my house, if I had modular furniture, anything for my daughter, if I could break down everything in her room, oh my gosh, that would change everything. Like anybody living in any urban center, that's one use case. There's so many use cases for this furniture, which is really, really cool. But I was, of course, thinking closest to home and myself. Gosh, if I could flatten all of my daughter's furniture and put it away under the bed behind the cabinet, that would be amazing. That would change a lot.
So to take it, thank you for those compliments. To take it back another step too is like on typical furniture, if you break something, the whole thing's garbage. Okay, I wanted to give a lifetime warranty. My lawyer said not to. That should be listened. But like if something got damaged on our furniture, you can replace one part.
That is amazing.
Correct. And like right out of the gate too, I made sure that I figured out a design that I was 100% happy with, that I wasn't going to change, so
Mhm.
that people can do that.
Mhm.
And what that also did, that also opened up the gate to like our core piece of furniture is called our mod 5. But what if you put a bottom shelf on that, then you have like a bar cart or a different or a hutch, or even put a bottom shelf and a butcher block top on it. Now you have a kitchen island.
Mhm.
So you have this core building block that when your daughter's done with her desk,
Mhm.
you could just go and order a different part. So
change the function of the table.
correct.
And it's a new piece of that's really cool. I like that idea a
Exactly.
lot.
Yeah, I mean the premise of the design really is multifunctional pieces that adapt as your space or needs change over time. So, young growing families, like it sounds like you are, and small space living. I mean, a lot of people are downsizing today, and so they need pieces of furniture that serve multiple purposes. So maybe use it as a work from home desk, but then maybe in the evenings it becomes your hobby table, or maybe it's a small dining table, or like Stewart said, with a couple of different accessories, you can entertain with it, and it morphs into a bar cart. And so that's kind of the idea, is that instead of this piece of furniture ending up at the curb and ultimately in a landfill, you can add different accessories if you move to a different home, or if something changes in your life conditions, you can accessorize it differently. And now you have almost a brand new piece of furniture that serves a new function for you for its next useful life.
I
And,
really like that idea.
in addition, like we have dining tables, and we have a square 30 by 30 dining table. And since the beginning of time, furniture designers put leaves inside the center of the table. Okay, we put the leaves on the outside of the table with extension brackets. So if you have guests over, you need more space, you just pop the extension on. And then if you have a large gathering, you can link two tables together.
Very cool, super functional. And what I love is that you guys have obviously there's a lot of forethought that went into it to make it a piece of furniture that stays with you functionally for forever. For there's
Right.
that's really on brand for us at B1. That's very, very cool. Can we talk about we at the end to close these conversations, we have I like to call them rapid fire, but the questions are not yes or no. So it's not often rapid, as in it's just same questions that we ask everybody that for our entrepreneurs and our aspiring entrepreneurs, just to have a little peek behind like what actually goes on. So 2023, now we're in Q4 of 2023. Did this year go as you expected it to with regards to your business?
So
No.
no, it didn't. But we learned a lot. We we were able to because again, like we pivoted again. We pivoted out of the
Trying to sell to the brick and mortar.
the wholesale. Like when we was trying to sell wholesale, everybody kept saying that we have to lower our price, and it was because everybody all of a sudden there's 5, 6, 7, 8 layers of people
Who need a certain percentage.
skimming off the top. So so we got away from that whole wholesale, which we thought that we were going to be selling in stores at this point, and we're not. So we've pivoted again.
So I would say, in short, no. But
In short, no, but like we've not like we know where we have to be now.
It's so rare that I talked to an entrepreneur that was like, yes, for an entire 12-month period, everything has gone to plan. That's never the case. And for the folks out there listening who are about to launch a business, just keep that in mind. For a 12-month period, I mean, for me, it's like in this 3-month period, in this quarter, did things go to plan? And you think, well, no, someday they will, but for a whole 3 months, no, things didn't go to plan. But yeah,
I mean, it's so important. I think. I mean, we our mantra is relentless persistence, and so we get up every day and we just keep going. But I think it's important to know that you have to be nimble and flexible in that time as well. So we still have our relentless persistence to get this furniture into every house that we can possibly get into. But, we know that we have to be very flexible along the way and, adapt as the conditions around us require us to.
So was that your biggest challenge in 2023, is pivoting away from the distribution route that you thought that you were going to be pursuing?
Yeah, I would say so. And I mean, the other biggest challenge that we've had with this entire venture, and I think you said it earlier, is that there are so many different people and demographics that can benefit from this furniture. So, like, really narrowing down our avatar customer has been another thing that we've been really drilling down on. We still have a couple of different ideas of different ways that we want to take this, like getting it into schools and universities. Like, so many people look at our furniture and say, you should be selling this to every college out there. So, like, we're still looking at different avenues, but we've really drilled down that our avatar is, those younger generation growing families that need something that they can buy and know that they're investing into a good piece of furniture, but it's going to be able to serve multiple functions and lives for them over the course of the time that it's with them.
So then what was the most exciting thing that happened this year?
Well, we have a big announcement today. We're putting out a press release probably right after this recording. We've just been recognized by National Wildlife Federation and Sustainable Furnishings Council. We tied for the top score on the wood furniture scorecard.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's pretty exciting. So every year for the last, I think this is their fifth or sixth year doing it, they rank furniture companies based on their wood sourcing policies and dedication to sustainability. So we are releasing that this afternoon.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice. All right. Well, what do you think? I'm going to ask some questions about now, not just this year, but for everything since you've started. What do you feel like has been your biggest success to date?
Oh,
Uh,
I'll let you answer that.
one of the biggest successes was stepping away from the continuing of designing
Mm.
and making, because that's like, that's a big, like, interpersonal thing that, like, I had to, overcome, and we both had to, like, we both had to overcome it, because we have furniture, that we painted a certain color because we liked it, but we didn't have any market research that would accept that color. So I think that was the one of the biggest things in
Yeah, kind of putting the brakes on some stuff and saying, like, okay, we have a ton of good ideas, and he's got a whole notebook full of different designs that he still wants to bring to market, but, like, having that, like, moment of, like, okay, wait, we got to put the brakes on, and we have to get out there what we have, our kind of core pieces, and then we can keep bringing more things to market. So that was a really tough thing to do, but I think in retrospect, I think you're right. I mean, I think that's a success. It's a win to make that decision.
Yeah, there's like, we have furniture in our showroom. It's not on the website. We have bed frames that are all modular claps, flat pack. We have bookcases. I mean, it's just a whole line. I even designed a line of conventional cabinetry that's all closed, that all flat packs, and that was, you know, I did it to conceal stuff at a trade show. But we subsequently learned that it would be taken very well in Europe, because of,
Aha.
when we've learned that when you rent a flat in Europe, you rent walls, and
Yes, I learned. I used to live in France, and that was a surprise to me. Yeah, you take your kitchen with you. That's
yeah.
it's a surprise.
So we have kitchen cabinets that are ready to go to Europe, that all flat pack and go together with no tools, no hardware.
That is
But we
cool.
just can't spread ourselves that thin
Yeah.
right now. So
Yeah, sure. I get that. Okay, on the flip side of that, however you define it, what would you consider to be your biggest failure to date?
Listening to other people.
Mm.
listening to the wrong other people, I would say. Yeah. I mean, I think I said earlier that, learning to take advice from mentors was, I mean, for us, that was a big hurdle. But on the other side of that coin, we also learned that not everybody who's willing to give advice is giving you the right advice.
Yeah, we're qualified.
Um, you know, maybe sometimes the advice is selfish on their part, or maybe it's just not as experienced as, you know, you think it is. And so now I would say that we still seek advice, but I think we take it with a grain of salt, and we, you know, really kind of analyze that advice before we go and act on it, as opposed to just saying, oh, you know, Bob must know what he's talking about. Like, let's do what he says. You know, we really kind of analyze it and see if it's really the right valid advice for us. So
yeah, that's one thing that I hear a lot with entrepreneurs, because in by nature, entrepreneurs are innovative, open-minded. They want to move quickly. They want to learn from, you know, what people have done before. And so by nature, entrepreneurs are like that. And it's yeah, scrutinizing the quality of the information that you're getting, or the qualifications of the person who's giving it. That's something that I hear
right.
really often from entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And what about the most important lesson you feel that you've learned today? You guys have talked about a lot of really important learnings. What do you think maybe is one of the most important ones that you've learned for going forward?
When to stop spending money.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, that's super valid.
Yeah.
For new ventures. And
right.
this is one that we ask everybody. If you could get, normally we talk about, you know, in terms of sustainability, environmental impact, if you could get 85% of the world to adopt a single behavior, what would that be?
To buy our furniture.
Yeah, I mean, obviously to use our furniture, but I mean, I think the deeper message is to really look at waste and consumption and disposability of things that we use in our everyday lives, because, you know, there's just the growing landfills are just a really big problem that we see. You know, and the furniture industry contributes to that, but so does the everyday consumable life. And I think, you know, we've personally, I'm not going to say that we're perfect. I mean, we still, you know, we'll drink a bottle of water out of a plastic bottle here and there, but like, you know, really be mindful of what you're consuming and what you're using and where it's going after you're done with it, I think is really important.
Yes. So this mission that we're on, and this furniture was in us before we got on this mission. We went to school in Boston. It's college capital of the world, and you know, every September the streets are filled with disposable furniture. And it's to the point that the city
puts out dumpsters so
they
can help facilitate the disposal of it.
Yeah, and you know, we went to school in Boston, and we were part of that. And you know, I just didn't want our furniture to be part of that.
Contributing to that, right?
Yeah. And then lastly, can you give us a plug for where we can find you, your showroom, and online and social? Where can we find you?
Oh, that's great. So our website is fivodesign.com. So FiVO is FIVO design.com. We are on Facebook and Instagram at FiVO_design. And our showroom is here in Andover, Massachusetts.
Nice. Deanna and Stewart, thank you so much for talking to us about FiVO Design. I really like your product. I really like the design of it, the pattern, like it. I think that's a very apt description. Legos for adults, for furniture. And it's so functional. We only have people on here. We only talk to people who we've looked at their stuff and you know, kind of vetted them, and we actually like what they're doing. So we can come on and talk enthusiastically about what we're seeing. And you know, I've not seen anything like this. This is really unique. So all of the success, huge congratulations on the award that you just won as well. We'll make sure that we'll link that to our community as well. So thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amber.